If your hamstrings are always tight, it's easy to think you just need to stretch them out, but there's a very good chance you're just making it worse. So here's 4 things that are likely to be the underlying cause of your hamstring tightness, so you can sort out your hammies once and for all. The first possible cause of chronically tight hammies is weak glutes. Both muscles help propel you forward during walking and running, but if the glutes aren't strong or active enough, the hamstring muscle will become overactive and overworked. If you do a basic glute bridge exercise and your hamstrings cramp up a bit, that's a good sign that your hammies are too dominant. We can actually use a modification of the bridge exercise to get the glutes working more. If you push your feet away from your body before lifting, this will focus the exercise more on your glute max, using what's called reciprocal inhibition. Lift up, hold for 5 seconds, and work towards 2 sets of 10 of these. If that's too easy, do single leg lifts instead. The second possibility is that what you're feeling down the back of your leg, that tightness, is actually coming from the nerves running down the back of your leg, not the hamstring. If the nerves that travel down your spine and down the back of your legs are getting caught up by adhesions along their path, or things like disc debris, it can feel very similar to hamstring tightness. This is especially likely if you feel some numbness or pins and needles in your leg, or if you feel it at the back of your knee and your calf when you stretch your hamstrings. To test this, do a slump test. Sitting back on a chair, start off by putting your hands behind your back, rounding your back and dropping your head right down. Then straighten your knee and bring your toes towards you until you feel the tightness down the back of your leg. Now, if you extend your head right back and all the tension in your leg disappears, your pain is coming from nerve irritation rather than the muscles of your leg. If the nerve is just getting caught up by adhesions along its path, you can relieve this neural tension with some nerve flossing. Lying face up, raise your thigh to a roughly vertical position so that your arms are straight. Bring your toes towards your body. Then, keeping your toes back, extend the knee until you feel a bit of a stretch down the back of your leg. From here, flex and extend your ankle 5 times to slide the nerve along its pathway to clear out any adhesions. Do 3 sets of 5 daily, but it's really important that you do this gently. You only want a mild stretching sensation as you bring your toes towards you. This is not a stretch of muscles, it's sliding the nerve along its pathway. If the nerve can't slide properly due to severe adhesions or a major disc protrusion and it really pulls, stop and go and see a professional. Our third possible underlying issue is tight hip flexors like your psoas or rectus femoris. Tight hip flexors tilt the pelvis forward, lifting up the attachment of the hamstrings, creating tension in the hammies. To test your psoas, go into this position and squeeze your glutes and abs to posteriorly tilt your pelvis. If it feels really tight here, this could be your problem. To stretch the psoas, move back, posteriorly tilt your pelvis, and hold that pelvic tilt as you slowly move forward and backwards for 30 seconds. Do that twice each side once a day. To test your rectus femoris, go into a similar position but with the knee of the leg that you want to test bent. If you posteriorly tilt the pelvis and feel this stretch more here, this may be the culprit. To stretch the rec fem, do the same motion. Back off, posteriorly tilt the pelvis and slowly move forward and backwards, but with the leg bent. Now finally, it could be that you do indeed have tight and short hamstrings, but you've just got adhesions or knots in the hamstring, or you're not doing the stretch properly, you're not isolating the muscle enough. If your hamstring issue is pretty chronic, start off doing a myofascial release of the hamstring with a tennis ball. Place a tennis ball under the hamstring on a firm seat and slowly straighten and bend your knee. Work on several places throughout the belly of the hamstring for a minute each hamstring. This uses ischemic compression, fascia release, and reciprocal inhibition, all to relax the muscle. For the stretching component, don't stretch your hamstring like this, with your knee straight and your toes towards you. If you stretch like this, you're likely to be stretching the nerves or the calf muscles instead of your hammies. And you're more likely to hurt yourself because your knee is locked. Do this instead. If you put your foot down on the bench, you're plantar flexing the foot to take out the calf muscles. And if you bend your knee, you're taking out the nerve component. Next, flatten your back out to tilt the pelvis into a better position to stretch the hamstring. Then, keeping your lower back straight, not rounded, bend forward slightly to feel the stretch. Slowly bend forward and backwards for 30 seconds and do this twice on each side. Make sure you've got a bit of your weight on the front leg so that you're using the hamstring lightly as you stretch. This adds an eccentric component to the stretch, making it better than a static stretch. You can also do this stretch just on the floor. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing because it always really helps. And let me know how you go in the comment section below. Okay, cheers.